Hey, what is up guys, Sept here, back again with another great deck profile. This time it's actually Zefra's, and this is a tier 2 deck profile. Maybe tier 1.5, I don't know, but it has been keeping up with the meta recently. Whilst it isn't dominating the meta enough to be tier 1 or even tier 0, it is keeping up with it, so if you want something slightly different, then this is the deck for you. Now, if you're tired of Necros, if you're tired of Califort, if you're tired of Dark Law spam and Perform Age and stuff like that, this deck has some of the most perfect cards to get around all that Shaddoll stuff. And it comes in the form of Baxia and Chao Feng. Now, I'll get into the why the deck's so good in a second, but you'll see already that we're running quite a lot of pendulums, so you'll understand where it's coming from when we're running this many spells and so little traps. So if you do like this video, please remember to comment, like and subscribe and test out this deck. It's really solid and I've been meaning to show you guys for a little while now. So yeah, test it out. Maybe it'll be good for locals and it should be cheap enough. You know, it's not exactly like Zefra's are, you know, amazingly expensive. Whilst the Synchro cards are kinda expensive, they're not over the top. They're not really that overpriced or anything. So test it out, see how you like it. Anyways, into the deck profile. So we start with 2 Bian Earth of the Yangzhangs. We got 1 Bixi Water of the Yangzhang. We have Chiwen Light of the Yangzhang at 3. We have 3 Jitu Darkness of the Yangzhang. We have 2 Swanee Fire of the Yangzhang. We have the 2 Archfiend Eccentrics, the 2 Magical Abductors, the 2 Satellanite Zefra Thubans, 3 Satellanite Zefra Sighton, or Zefra Section, I don't know how you want to say it. We have 3 Zefra Neo Secret of the Yangzhang. We have the 2 Zefra C Treasure of the Yangzhang. And we have the spells. For the spells, we have the 3 Chicken Game, the 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, the 3 Oracle of the Zefras, 1 Terraforming, 3 Upstart Goblin, 2 Yangzhang Paths, and the 1 Zefra Divine Strike. For the side deck, well actually we'll go for the extra deck first. So we have 3 Baxia Brightness of the Yangzhangs, 1 Chao Feng Phantom of the Yangzhang. We have 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon, 1 Goyo Guardian, 1 Herald of the Arc Light. We have 1 Metaphys Horus. We have 1 Samsara Dragon of Rebirth, Void Ogre Dragon at 1, 2 Yahtzee Evil of the Yangzhang, 1 Castle, 1 Felgrand, and 1 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. For the side deck, we have the 2 Artifact Lancia for the Infernoid matchup and some of the other ones that banish stuff like Necros. We have 1 Effect Veiler just because it needs to be in there just in case, you know, you get a mirror match or something like that. It can help drop that on a Jitu of your opponents instead. We have 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, just for maybe Califort, stuff like that. We have the 2 Max C, the 1 Pouty Shadow of the Yangzhang. This is for first turn. If you're against Burning Abyss or Shadolls, you want Jitu to special summon this card, to special summon the Pouty and the Bixi, because it's 0 attack and 0 defense. So 0 defense here, 0 attack on this card, and that'll get you 9 so that you can start locking down dark attribute effects, so they can't activate dark attribute effects. We have the 1 Archfiend Eccentric, because sometimes it's just better not to go for the Typhoon. Instead, we go for the 3 Archfiend Eccentrics. And whilst this does mess with us, if we run into something like anti-spell fragrance, then it's not too big a deal. It's not that big a deal, because we've still got the 2 Mystical Space Typhoons in case of that, and we've still got the Synchro Summoning if we need it. We have the 2 Wavering Eyes, 1 Imperial Iron Wall. This is to contribute to the Lancias, because sometimes you just need the permanent, you're not banishing my shit. Oasis of the Dragon Souls at 1, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Treacherous Trap Hole, and another Zefra Divine Strike. We run a lot of pendulums, so it's good to just have another Zefra Divine Strike if you're not interested in running Solemn Warning. The reason for this is, sometimes you don't want Solemn Warning because it's Necros. You know, Necros spell card, if the spell card goes to the grave, they just add another one, because by banishing another one, they just get another ritual spell card, and you've really done nothing except pay 2,000 life points to stall the game out. So they can't use that, I don't know, Kaleido Mirror but they can use Necrocycle instead, and you've not really stopped them. So, and the Treacherous Trap Hole is because we run so little trap cards. It's really good because we just run so little trap cards, so it's always going to be live unless you just use Zefra Divine Strike. And that would have to be extremely unlucky for you to draw the 2 traps, or to have drawn Zefra Divine Strike within your first 5, it gets popped, and then for you to draw the Treacherous Trap Hole later. Like, that's just unlucky. You just have to accept that sometimes you're unlucky like that. So let's talk about Magical Abductor. Magical Abductor is such a damn good card in this deck, okay? Now, I'll tell you why, because Magical Abductor, when put onto the field, it won't add a spell counter, but every spell afterwards will add a spell counter. So if you use Terraforming, you can use Terraforming, add a spell trap card to, add a field spell to the hand, that's 1 counter. Use Oracle of the Zefra, that's 2 spell counters. Add a Zefra monster, which is a pendulum. There you go, there's your scales. You've got scale 3, scale 7, and that's another spell counter. There's your 3 spell counters for the turn, and you get to pendulum summon as well as add a pendulum card from your deck to your hand, which could be anything. It could be one of these, one of these, one of these, or even Eccentric Archfiend if you really need it. So if you've managed to, if you've managed to get Terraforming, Oracle, and Chicken Game, or Upstart, Oracle, Chicken Game, whatever one you want, you can add Eccentric and then pop a card on the field. It's just nice to have a searchable MST. It basically acts as a search for MST. It also activates off of your opponent's spells. So if your opponent activates spell cards, which they'll just do, then you get to do that. Now the combo really starts out like this. The combo is Joy2 will drop 2 Yang Zangs. This can be the Yang Zang monsters, it can be the pendulum monsters, or it can actually be Yang Zang Path. It says Yang Zang cards. It doesn't say Yang Zang monsters, it says to send 2 Yang Zang cards. So you can send the Yang Zang Path. Now, if you do send that, then you get to special summon one Yang Zang with 0 attack and 1 Yang Zang with 0 defense. So that can be Swanee and say the Secret. That can be Swanee and Secret, or it can be Chi Wen and Secret. But the way that the combo usually goes is, if you drop Chi Wen, then you want to special summon Bian and Secret. If you don't drop Chi Wen by sending it as cost, then you want to special summon Secret and Chi Wen. So it's still 0 attack and 0 defense, so it still activates, so you still get to use Secret and that. Anyways, once you have those 2, you'll be able to Synchro summon Baxia. Baxia will then put 2 cards of his back into the deck. It'll shuffle them back into the deck, so good for Shaddoll matchups. And then you get to use the second effect of Baxia, pop Chi Wen or Bian, special summon out another Secret, and special summon back Joy2 that you used for the original Synchro summon of that Baxia. Then you special summon another Baxia and send 2 more back to his deck. That gives you 2 level 8s, and you still can pop 1 card and bring another card back. Now, if you're lucky enough, that means Chi Wen's effect was never used that turn. So if you're lucky, Chi Wen is in the graveyard at the moment. So when you popped your Bian, you can activate Chi Wen from the grave. Okay? Just keep up with me here, boys. You activate Chi Wen from the grave, and you get Secret at the same time because Bian's effect worked. So you've got, at the moment, you have 1 Baxia on the field, 1 Joy2, 1 Secret, and 1 Chi Wen. Therefore, you can then Synchro summon another Baxia. So you've got 2 Baxias on the field now, and a Chi Wen, and you can pop another card on the field. If you want to, you can pop another card on the field, say Oracle of the Zefra, say one of the pendulum monsters, and then you can special summon back Bian. Bian will allow you to then go into Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight with Chi Wen, and Bian means it can't be destroyed by battle, and you don't know how many times I've seen people make this mistake, is they will attack a Herald of the Arclight expecting to be able to destroy it, but they can't. So that's another thing that we've got against the Burning Abyss and the Infernoid matchups and the Shaddoll matchups, is if you make Herald of the Arclight, they really don't want to make things that will mess with it. They really don't want to, you know, use their only form of milling to banish their cards for their deck. So that's why we use Heralded Arclight, and it's so good, because on top of being able to be that annoying, Baxia can actually destroy a card on the field and special summon him back. If you've synchro summoned him that turn and then the next turn it's popped, or you had to negate an effect by tributing it, you can actually bring it back by Baxia's effect, because once per turn you target a card you control and one level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, you destroy one card and special summon another card back, which can be Herald. It doesn't have to be a Yang Zhen card. So yeah, he's just so good. Baxia is so solid in this deck. Now with Chao Feng, you've got to kind of guess on what you want to do. Now you can make Chao Feng instead with the two, when we're talking about two Baxias and a Chi Wen, you can then use Baxia and Chi Wen to synchro summon the Chao Feng, which can be really good against the Tellarknight matchups or the Shaddoll matchups. The Perform Mages really don't like being messed with, so if you want to mess with them with the Chao Feng, it can really mess up the whole light effect. You're not getting to use light effect things, especially when they want to you know, fusion summon construct and stuff. So I'm just trying to explain the deck as quickly as possible, and this card is so good because we have the access to Joy-2 and the Satellanites here. You get to actually make this card, the Pendulum monster effect. So your opponent chooses one monster they control and gives control of it to you, but it cannot attack this turn. Now, I'm not sure the exact rulings, but I'm pretty sure that, well, I know for a fact that doesn't target opponent's monsters, so you've already got something on them. If they have a non-targeting effect on their card, that means that you can use this card, take control of their monster without actually having targeted it. It's your opponent chooses a monster they control and gives control of it to you. It affects the player, not the monster, as I'm aware. It only affects the player, because they just give the control over to you. But yeah, such a good card, such a solid card. It can change a duel. It can absolutely change a duel. If you're in a pinch, you really do need to, you know, use these two, the Zefra Thuban and the Exciton. The other thing is, I should mention just before we finish here, Zefra Thuban and Zefra Exciton have one beautiful effect, and it is this. If you normal summon or pendulum summon it, you'll be able to target one card, well, one other Tellarknight or one Zefra card in your monster zone or pendulum zone, and you get to pop one face up card for this card or one face down card for this card, and you get to pop them both, destroy them. Now the reason that this is so good is, even if they chain the card or remove it from the field, you will still destroy those cards. So if you summon Satellite Zefra Thuban and you target the secret in your pendulum zone and he MSTs that secret, so it goes to the extra deck, you'll still pop the card that you targeted with the effect, and that's why it's so good. It's just that kind of good. So the deck has quite a bit of everything. It has mixture, it has 1900 attack cards, 2100 defense cards, it has graveyard effects, it has pendulum summoning, it has searchers, it has MST popping, it has all of these effects, and it has recycling with Yanzeng Path, it has lockdown with Chao Feng, it has Clearwing Synchro Dragon, which is really good in this current meta actually. You would not believe how many times you want to go against like Construct or something with a Clearwing Synchro Dragon. It's just that kind of good. So yeah, just the deck has a bit of everything, and that's why I love playing this deck. It's such a solid deck. So, oh, and the last thing I should mention, the very last thing, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon is for the Cleafort Towers matchup. You can still make two Baxia, overlay them, and then beat the shit out of them with a 5100 attack Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, because it will reach 5600 attack through its effect, but it'll take 500 off of it because it was special summoned, the towers, and there you go. You get a Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon with 5600 attack to beat over the towers that's, you know, messing with you. And because you made two Baxias that turn, you likely made it so that his scales are returned to the deck, so he can't pendulum summon next turn. That's why it's such a good matchup. The Cleaver matchup is probably one of the best matchups for this Zefra deck. It just really is, unless they start throwing down skill drains and stuff. Then you've got to start thinking on your feet. But we've got Bixie for that. If you use Bixie and stuff like that, Bixie, Jaitu and Swanee will equal your 8. Will get you your 8 and it will be unaffected by traps. Therefore you can put that skill drain back into his deck and not worry too much about it. You really don't need to worry too much about it. So yeah, and it will gain an extra 500 attack, so 2800 attack, not too bad. But yeah, that's it for me, boys. If you did like this video, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. I am sorry it took so long to explain everything, but this deck is pretty, it's not a helmet deck. It's not just put on your helmet, there you go, away you go. That's it, simple as that. No, it's actually pretty complicated, and things do need to be explained, and you need to appreciate that the combos in this deck are pretty hard to pull off. It's not just, you know, wait for your opponent to attack you or destroy your cards and get Yang Zhangs out. No, this deck has a much more aggressive approach, and it has much more thought. You have to think about what you're going to do this turn, next turn, and everything in between, basically. So, yeah, if you did like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day. Peace out.